How to improve your listening skills. Alex felt a familiar knot of dread tighten in his stomach. Another English class, another session of feeling utterly lost. He longed to express himself freely, to join conversations effortlessly, but the words always seemed to vanish just before reaching his lips. This daily struggle was a constant source of quiet despair for him. He knew theory, he understood grammar rules in isolation, yet actual communication felt like an insurmountable mountain. The fear of making mistakes paralyzed him, making every attempt at speaking feel like a massive performance. He often wondered if he was simply not cut out for language learning at all. One evening, scrolling through language forums, Alex stumbled upon a concept: the best way to learn English isn't just about textbooks. It sparked a tiny flicker of hope. He realized his traditional methods were lacking the crucial element of practical application. Something needed to fundamentally change in his approach now. The advice emphasized how to improve your listening skills as the foundation. Alex started simple, dedicating 30 minutes each day to English podcasts during his commute. He didn't stress about understanding every single word initially, focusing instead on the overall rhythm and intonation patterns of the speakers. He moved from beginner-friendly conversations to more challenging narratives, slowly expanding his auditory comprehension. Watching English movies with subtitles, then without, became a daily ritual. He noticed subtle nuances, the flow of natural speech, and how native speakers connected words together seamlessly. This active listening truly sharpened his ear. He began picking up on idiomatic expressions he'd never encountered in textbooks. Understanding increased steadily, building a crucial internal database of sounds and phrases. His brain was finally starting to process spoken English more efficiently and naturally. Next came the challenge of how to think and speak in English. Alex realized he was always translating internally from his native language, which slowed him down tremendously. He decided to create a mental English-only zone for simple daily activities. When brushing his teeth, he'd describe the process silently in English. Walking down the street, he'd narrate his surroundings. This constant internal monologue, though initially awkward, gradually trained his brain to bypass the translation step, fostering direct English thought pathways. Speaking aloud, even to himself, became vital. He would practice answering simple questions about his day. What did I eat for breakfast? Where am I going today? This solo practice built basic fluency and helped him identify common grammatical errors he frequently made. How to remember words was another hurdle. Alex adopted a new strategy, not just lists, but context. When he encountered a new word, he'd write it down in a sentence, relating it to his own life experiences. This personal connection made recall significantly easier over time. He used flashcard apps with spaced repetition algorithms, reviewing challenging vocabulary just as he was about to forget it. Connecting words to images or creating silly mental stories also proved incredibly effective for long-term retention of complex terminology and phrases. Gradually, how make confidence in speaking began to improve. Alex started with small, low-stakes interactions. Ordering coffee in English, asking for directions. Each successful tiny conversation chipped away at his anxiety, proving that mistakes were not the end of the world. He learned to embrace imperfection. The goal wasn't flawless speech, but effective communication. He reminded himself that everyone makes mistakes, even native speakers. This shift in mindset was absolutely crucial for overcoming his deep-rooted fear of judgment from others. Why you should practice speaking became glaringly obvious. Passive learning was insufficient, active production was key. Alex joined an online English speaking club, starting with timid contributions, then gradually growing bolder with each passing session. He understood that consistent, deliberate practice was the only true path to mastery. Setting aside dedicated time each day, even just 15 minutes, for active speaking, transformed his progress. He started seeing exponential improvements in his verbal fluency. His English study plan for talking began to take shape. It wasn't just random activities, but a structured daily routine. Morning listening, midday vocabulary review, and evening speaking practice. This comprehensive approach ensured all skills were being actively developed. How to talk to people in pairs offered a breakthrough. Alex found a language exchange partner online, Sarah, who was learning his native language. Their regular video calls became a safe space for reciprocal learning and genuine conversation practice. They started with structured topics, describing their daily routines or hobbies. Soon, their conversations flowed naturally, covering current events, personal opinions, and even light-hearted debates. The pressure was off, replaced by a shared goal of mutual improvement. These pair conversations allowed Alex to experiment with new phrases, receive immediate feedback, and practice turn-taking in a realistic setting. He noticed his pronunciation becoming clearer and his responses quicker, almost automatic now. Alex's journey was not a straight line, there were plateaus and moments of doubt. But he remembered the initial spark, the desire to truly learn English and connect with the world beyond his own language. He persisted, even when discouraged. He now spoke with a newfound ease, able to articulate complex thoughts and engage in spontaneous discussions. The initial knot of dread had completely untangled, replaced by a genuine excitement for linguistic exploration and connection with different cultures. His listening skills were sharp, picking up subtleties he'd once missed. His thinking process was predominantly in English, making his speech flow more naturally without conscious translation. He truly felt a transformation occurring inside himself. Remembering words no longer felt like a chore but an organic process of discovery. His confidence was unwavering, built on countless small victories and the acceptance that making mistakes was an essential part of the learning process for everyone. The disciplined practice, the consistent speaking, and the structured study plan had all contributed significantly. He had transformed from a hesitant learner into a proficient communicator, someone who truly embraced the power of language. His journey was a testament to the fact that language learning is not about inherent talent, but consistent effort and the right strategies. He felt a profound sense of accomplishment and liberation from his past limitations and fears. He now looked forward to every English conversation, every new encounter. The world had opened up in ways he hadn't imagined possible, all because he decided to actively pursue fluency and confidently express himself. He realized that the best way to learn wasn't just consuming information, but actively producing it. It was about turning passive knowledge into active, usable skills through relentless, focused practice, day in and day out, without fail. He often shared his journey with others, encouraging them not to give up, to find their own effective methods. His story became an inspiration, a beacon of hope for those who felt stuck on their own linguistic learning paths. Alex's initial fear had been replaced by a genuine passion for communication. He loved the nuances of English, the way it allowed him to connect with people from diverse backgrounds, breaking down barriers effortlessly and naturally. His success wasn't instantaneous, it was the accumulation of countless small, consistent efforts. Each podcast listened to, each word remembered, each hesitant sentence spoken, added up to the confident speaker he had become. He vividly recalled those early days of frustration, the feeling of words stuck in his throat. Now, they flowed freely, a testament to his dedication and the effectiveness of his newly discovered learning strategies and techniques. The process had taught him resilience, patience, and the importance of self-compassion. He understood that learning a language was a marathon, not a sprint, requiring continuous effort and a positive mindset to overcome obstacles. His transformation wasn't merely linguistic, it was personal. He felt more confident in all areas of his life, realizing that persistence and strategic effort could unlock any potential he chose to pursue, no matter how challenging. He began participating in online debates, expressing his opinions clearly and persuasively. This was a far cry from the silent observer he once was, terrified to utter a single incorrect syllable in front of others. The joy of understanding complex English articles or films without subtitles was immense. He could fully immerse himself in content, absorbing ideas and narratives directly, without the filtering lens of translation, which was liberating. He even started contributing to English language forums, helping other learners with their struggles, sharing his own practical tips and encouragement. He had become a mentor, embodying the very change he once craved for himself. The ability to think directly in English had revolutionized his comprehension speed. Conversations no longer felt like decoding exercises but seamless exchanges of ideas, making social interactions much more enjoyable for him. He continued to refine his listening skills by actively seeking out diverse accents and challenging subject matter. He understood that improvement was an ongoing journey, not a destination he would ever truly reach. The consistent practice of speaking, especially the deliberate effort to form full sentences, cemented his grammatical understanding far better than any textbook exercise ever could, building muscle memory. He truly believed that the English study plan for talking should prioritize output over input, especially once a foundational understanding was established. Speaking was the ultimate test and enhancer of all skills. His success with the paired conversations had been pivotal. Having a dedicated partner meant accountability and regular, judgment-free opportunities to experiment with language in a safe and supportive environment. These interactions were invaluable for building conversational flow, learning natural responses, and internalizing the rhythm of native English speech. It was real-time feedback and practice combined, powerfully. He also discovered that teaching or explaining concepts in English to his partner further solidified his own understanding and vocabulary, making knowledge much more deeply ingrained in his memory. The process of remembering words became less about brute force memorization and more about active engagement and repeated exposure in meaningful contexts, integrating them into his working vocabulary. Confidence wasn't just about knowing answers, but about having the courage to try, to make mistakes, and to learn from them. This shift in perspective was perhaps the most profound change of all for Alex. Every conversation, no matter how brief, was a micro-training session, building his communication muscles. He sought out opportunities to speak, rather than shying away, seeing them as growth moments. He often mused on the initial advice, why you should practice speaking. It was undeniably the most impactful component of his entire learning adventure, providing the real-world application of all his efforts. His English was no longer a collection of isolated facts but a living, breathing tool for connection and self-expression. He was truly fluent, articulate, and able to convey his unique personality in English. Alex's story serves as a powerful reminder that dedication, the right strategies, and consistent practice can transform anyone's English journey. From silence to fluent conversation, his progress was inspiring. He continues to learn and grow, but the fear is gone. Now, only curiosity and joy remain, driving him forward in his ongoing linguistic exploration. The world truly feels smaller, more connected than ever. He would always advocate for finding a speaking partner, emphasizing the unique benefits of peer-to-peer learning and mutual encouragement. It creates a dynamic and supportive learning environment. The key was understanding that English isn't just a subject, it's a skill. And like any skill, it requires hands-on application and continuous refinement through regular engagement, not just passive study. Alex's transformation from shy student to confident English speaker became a testament to what's possible with perseverance and smart learning strategies. His journey was truly remarkable for everyone. He often told new learners, don't just learn English, live it. He believed in immersing oneself, even if imperfectly, in the language every single day, making it a natural part of daily existence now. His method wasn't magic, but a consistent application of proven techniques. Listening, thinking, speaking, remembering, practicing, all intertwined to create a holistic and effective learning experience. Now, whenever he heard someone struggle, he didn't pity them, he saw an opportunity to share his wisdom, to guide them towards the joy of confident English communication. He became a true advocate. His journey from hesitant speaker to articulate conversationalist offered invaluable lessons for anyone seeking fluency. It wasn't just about grammar, but about embracing the entire process with gusto.